Welcome to the beginning of week 10. Coming off of the deload week. It was a very nice deload week. Legs definitely were telling me that they needed it. Capped off with a nice camping trip. Got back from camping yesterday. Definitely feel like my body's adjusting a little bit after having slept on the ground for a few nights. Unfortunately, the air mattress thingy that I use for camping no longer holds air, so very little protection from the ground when sleeping. But honestly, it kind of felt like sleeping on a foam roller. Like, I mean, you hit those hard spots on a foam roller, your muscles scream out. But if you kind of just hold it there for a minute, it relaxes. Similar thing sleeping on the ground. Eventually, your bones just relax and give way, and your spine changes position. You can't breathe, and your hip dislocates. You get the picture. So needless to say, on this run right now, first run back, legs feel pretty fresh, but body feels a little bit weird. But nothing too bad. Made mention last week about kind of being curious about where my weight is. Ultimately, over this 3-month period or so, I didn't want to know. I didn't want it in my head. I think it's far more important that I maintain enough fueling and don't invite reasons for underfueling, because it's more important that I can cover the distance. I'm not really worried about my weight right now. As long as I'm light enough to run it and not hurt myself, I'm cool with it. All of that being said, I did end up weighing myself last week, and over the last 3 months, not trying, I lost 3 pounds. So when I get back on Zwift, hey, speed boost. Plan for this week, week 10, maximum mileage week. Pow, 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 cool graphics. Totally edited in, that look amazing. I think the plan for this week, assuming my legs feel good all the way through, is 3 runs during the week, somewhere in the 5 to 7K range, and then long run on the weekend, probably on Sunday. So I'll have to look at the weather. I could also dictate it. There might be rain coming on the weekend. 17K, 10-mile long run. Whoa! Let's get after it. Hey, it's run 2. So, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for this run. My watch suggested 10 minutes at half marathon pace, 15 minutes at threshold pace, and then 10 minutes at half marathon pace. I thought that sounded good, so that's what we're doing. A couple more minutes before I gotta pick it up. I had to start the threshold up a steep hill. Garmin doesn't care what the hill is. It just wants you running that pace. It's gonna be a long 15 minutes. Oh boy. It's a halfway time. Turned around. Barely hanging on. Whew. Threshold's done. Just gotta hold bottom end of my half marathon pace now for the rest of the run. Went pretty good. I hit 2 1K splits during it in 4:45 and then 4:35. Target pace is 4:40, so pretty bang on if you ask me. And then sped up at the end, so average time should probably be under. Oh, I'm tired now. Hello, hello, hello. Saturday morning, right around brunch time. I'm currently walking to the start of my long run. Kind of excited. This is going to be the longest run of the training block. I was a little bit nerve-wracking. But for route today, choosing to walk to the beginning because 10 miles is enough to run the full length of the Powerline Trail, turn around, and do it again. And then I think there's even a little bit of distance left I have to cover. So if I finish at Pondview Park, where I'm planning to start, I can do a little loop around the park, and I think that will be enough mileage. So that's the plan for today. A little bit of a situation with the weather today. All weekend looks looking like we're gonna have scattered strong thunderstorms. Definitely had one roll through last night, so I'm a little bit sleep deprived. Also didn't get to bed on time last night because of work. It happens. So I feel like this is actually gonna be a pretty good tryout for the half marathon because it's an early half marathon. I'll be sleep deprived. I'm taking out my Carbon Racing shoes, Saucony Endorphin Pro 4s, see how these handle longer distances. Longest I've taken them on so far is only about a 10K. So we'll see how they feel. But this should be generally what I'm going for the half marathon race. So it's kind of like half marathon tryout, 10-mile run. Yeah, let's get to it. So I have done this before, never on foot, so I did it with my gravel bike. It's kind of a nice, pleasant course. Like you're just out on this trail the whole time. The same busy intersections I always deal with, but should make for a nice, pleasant, long run. It is quite flat on the whole. There are a couple of hills that kind of last a while, but they're not very steep. The only hill that has some steepness to it is the one by the start here, climbing up to 43rd Street. It's like within the first half mile. So, should be pleasant. Just a matter of keeping one foot going now. So still within that first half mile. I did not anticipate full sun. It's been all dark and gloomy all morning. Basically as soon as I went to start, the sun came out and I'm looking at the sky. There's more blue sky than clouds now. Might actually prove to be quite a toasty run. We shall see. The plan for this past week, I did want to get a third shorter run in during the week, but as the week progressed, it kind of became more and more clear that whether this weekend was going to kind of suck. And I felt like if I went for a run yesterday, it was going to make going for my longest run quite a bit more dangerous today. I really had no idea when there was going to be a good break to get the run in. So, even though I was totally fine to run yesterday, I think that was a pretty good example of how sometimes you just have to balance stress from work, stress from life, looking at the weather ahead, and just make sure that you're hitting the important runs in the week. So, there's a couple hours window here where it's not supposed to storm. It might be the only window I got all weekend to get this run in, so I'm glad I made that call. I just crossed 5K. Took about 30 minutes. Paces are definitely a gear down, and the heart rate's a gear up. Feeling the humidity for sure. When the sun's out, it's really oppressive. Energy levels in general just kind of a bit flat. Probably from dealing with a stressful work situation until 11:30 last night. And then being up in the middle of the night for a while as the storm rolled through. So, far from surprising. Definitely not alarming in any way, but I think it's just gonna mean this long run's gonna be extra long. Just trying to keep my heart rate below zone 4. And if I feel good getting the pace to dip back below 6. I probably am actually running sub 6. It's just I'm having to wait like 5 to 10 seconds at each intersection and then surge to get back up to speed. I think if this was truly open, it'd probably be 5:55, 5:50, which actually isn't too bad. So we'll see how this pans out. Kind of fun as I'm coming over the top of this hill. That kick up into the trees in the distance there. The top of that was the turnaround point for my longest run 2 weeks ago. I did start at the trail this week though instead of from home. So not quite apples to apples, but kind of cool. I'm gonna get to run past through same road I did last time, which is keep going and keep going. Also, I'm not quite fueled properly. Didn't eat breakfast this morning, unless you count a pumpkin spice cookie that I baked last night and then had this morning. It was a very mid cookie. Wasn't the greatest, but like it's a cookie, so like even a mid cookie is like hell yeah. Well, I took the caffeine gel as I approached the 5K mark. The 6 kilometer dropped 20 seconds. My body really does respond well to caffeine. I feel like all that coffee drinking over the years, man. My running training hasn't been consistent, but that caffeine training, even I could do that consistently. And it seems to have been worth it. I love to see it. Nice and easy through the intersection. Ooh, is that a sinkhole? I wonder why. Up the big kicker. Now we come down the other side, running along the path along the side of the road, and that'll be the end on the way out. Almost a turnaround point. How nice would it be if the entire trail was like this? I mean, holy cow. So much nicer when it's lined with trees. There's no reason not to do it either. Other than, you know, you'd have to plant thousands of trees and whew, almost died. Okay. Almost tripped down one of those chestnuts. I feel like this is so worth doing. It's so incredibly nice. It actually smells like fall, despite the fact that it feels like I'm running in August. Just lovely. Up on the turnaround point, almost there. Here we go, back the other way. That was 7.6 kilometers, so and stuff. Head back the other way. I'm doing some quick math. I estimated this to be about the case. Because out and back on this trail doing the whole thing is about 9.5 miles. So when I get back to Pondview Park, that loop, if I remember correctly, is about 700 meters-ish. So, probably gonna have to do that loop, and maybe part of the loop again. So, we'll see. Definitely don't want to like sprint finish going into Pondview Park, because we got more distance to cover once we finish the trail. Yay, the sun's back and I'm hot again. Through the forest. My heart rate's touching zone 5 on the climbs. That's not great. Sight. Come out of the nice forested shady bit. Hit a little steep downhill and then climb for the next mile straight. Did I say this course was flat in the beginning? Because it's really not. I think those climbs are only like 2%, 3%. Sometimes they kick up close to 10, but very short distances. But man, they just go for days, don't they? That horizon point isn't even like the halfway back point either. Oh well, gotta run over the Hohen twice at the end of the half marathon, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have to either eat this like it's lunch. I go for some lunch. Oh hey, it's Sinkhole City. How fun. Second gel down. Having trouble keeping the heart rate below zone 5 now, but it's still real humid. I did take that gel maybe 7 minutes late, so that was dumb of me. I got kind of wrapped up in making sure I got the 10K mark down. I did that in like 58, which is when I'm supposed to be taking the gel. And I was like, cool, 10K down, let's keep going. And then like 5 more minutes went by and I was like, oh crap, I gotta take a gel. So we'll see how that works out. 12K in, got about 4K left to go. Just under, I think, so. I'm kind of tired. I'm still holding like the low end of my half marathon pace now, which is better than I started with, but my heart rate's too high. Whew. Long runs are hard, man. See that guy coming from behind me? So he was in the last like 200-300 of his run, kicking it in. He was, you know, if I had to guess, hitting like 450 pace, you know, 450 per kilometer. So he was cooking. Mad props to him. It was very tempting to try to stick with him, but I still got like 2 miles to go, so can't overcook it now. The last big climb on the route. Now we go down this hill, cross a couple streets. We'll be at Pondview Park, and then loop out that last half mile. Definitely tired, holy crap. But shoes-wise, shoes are working good. Yeah, they got enough stability for me, I think, so that's good. Oh, that wind! Here's the end of the Powerline Trail back at the start. Now we just gotta loop Pondview Park a bit. Alright, here we go. We're about a full half mile short just on the route, so this might actually take 1.5 laps. Really tired. Really tired. Can you tell this is the longest I've run since I was 16 years old? It's only been 19 years. Finish this segment. I'm actually gonna turn back, head back out on the trail, and start heading home because I might need to reduce the walk back a little bit by doing that. Oh, back on the trail for the last 100. All right, 16.11. That's 10 miles. Oh. Average pace was 5:42. I'm done. That was 1 hour 32 minutes. So after doing that, I'd have the equivalent of a 27-minute 5K to close out. That sounds really hard to get under 2 hours, but that is doable. I was actually finishing under, I think, 5:30 per mile there at the end, so, or per kilometer. 5:30 per mile, geez. So, I think, all things considered, no breakfast. Let's count a cookie and then some honey stinger chews right before walking out the door. Bad night's sleep. Stressful night. Really, really humid because it stormed last night. That's fun, it's really hot. Like, could not have worse conditions, and I think sub 2 was still possible there. So I would have been holding on for dear life for the last 5K. Should be exciting on race day, 2 weeks out. Got one more week of easier training and then taper week. Let's go.